Hello students, very warm welcome in this particular video. This video we will talk about the business model canvas which has been there by a company called as strategizer.com, and so they have given a kind of 9 elements which are there, which are a part of the business, and this is how the business model canvas, the name, has come up. So I'm going to describe the 9 elements in detail one by one. So the first 9, I'm going to narrate these 9 elements and then we will cover it one by one. So the 9 elements are: first is the key partners, number 1. Number 2 is the key resources which are there. Number 3 are the key activities related to the business. Number 4 is the value proposition that the business provides to the customer. Number 5 is the customer relationships. How do you manage the customer relationships? Number 6 are the channels. Channels becomes a part of that. Number 7 is the different customer segments which are there. Number 8 is the cost structure which you have. And number 9 are the revenue streams. So let us cover all these 9 points one by one. So the first thing is the key partners. So any kind of relationship which is there with the non-governmental, governmental, private organizations, and those who become a part of your business, they enable your business to deliver the product or a service to the customer, becomes your key partners. For example, for an automobile manufacturing company, the original equipment manufacturers, OEM, is a key partner. So the thing is, unless and until you have these companies producing those parts on the assembly line, if the product reaches on time, these parts, then only the car can be made. So this is one example of how an original equipment manufacturer companies are a key partner for the automobile manufacturing companies. Similarly, let us say if it is a telecom organization. So telecom organization may not own all the business towers. They may not have the entire hardware and software to run it. So they're going to have partners. Maybe one is a partner in terms of the towers which are being constructed and across the country. The other could be the hardware on which this particular the entire thing runs, the telecom network runs, and the software being provided by an organization. So you may have different players in the market who can be your key partners. So this is the definition, and we can say what is the role of a key partner and who is a key partner to an organization. They help you to achieve your last mile, and they help you to ensure that the products get delivered to the customer finally. Number 2 is the key activities. So any kind of an activity which is there, which happens, which helps to result in terms of the last mile delivery of the product or a product or a service to the customer, and that is the key activity. For example, if you look at a manufacturing setup for a milk processing unit, so the sourcing of the raw material, which is the raw milk from the milkman, and putting it into the container that gets shipped to the particular this unit, milk processing unit, becomes a key activity. Then the processing of the milk, pasteurization, the packaging, and finally this production activity is a key activity. And finally the last mile, because it is a product which does not have a very large shelf life. Therefore, it is very important for this product to be shipped on time and reach the consumer. Thereby, supply chain, the road transport, and the way you transport it, the milk to the packaged milk to the consumer becomes an important key activity. So, key activity, as the word itself says, is the key to your success, and you need to have these activities in order to have the final product or service being delivered to the customer. This is the point number 2. Number 3 is the key resources. So key resources, as the word says, any resources can be in different formats when you say. So one can be, say, people. So the HR, the human resources which are there ultimately, who are working in the factory, or they are delivering a service which is there. So human resources. Then you have the intellectual capital, intellectual property rights, which is there, IP, which we say, intellectual property, which is again a kind of a resource which you have as an organization. Maybe over the years you have developed some intellectual capital, and that becomes a part of the intellectual resources. So this is again a key resource. Then you need to have the financial resources, funding, the money which you have. So finances become a key resource. If it is a factory, then land, labor, the machinery, and all this, that becomes a key resources. The raw material which is there, which comes in, becomes a key resource. So key resource is nothing but the kind of a resource, you can say, the things which are required to enable the processing and the manufacturing of a product or a service to be delivered. That becomes a key resource. So 3 points we have covered till now: key activities and key resources, which is there. And now let us move on to the fourth thing, which is called as the value proposition. So what is a value proposition? So any promise, which an organization makes to its customer, it becomes a value proposition. For example, there could be e-commerce company which says, I'm going to deliver this product within 10 minutes. So that is the value proposition which this company is, providing to you as a customer. So the thing is, unless and until this promise is kept, then only you will say, yes, okay, the value is being delivered to me, and that becomes the value proposition. There is an automobile company which says, okay, I'm going to give you a great, it's going to be a smooth ride and a great driving pleasures. You're going to enjoy the ride. It's going to be a comfortable journey, less noise from the external environment, and all the kind of safety features. So that's a value proposition which, you are giving it to the customer, and that becomes you can call it as a value proposition or a customer value proposition for that, we can say that, right? So this is the point number 4. Moving on to the point number 5, customer relationships. So how do you manage your customer? So thing is, there can be various ways. So let us say, sending the greetings to the customer. Then if it's an existing customer of a car, how you can, kind of reach out to him. Maybe you have some kind of an events being made for the customers. And so these kind of things. Let us say there's an automobile company which says we'll have a different a kind of a segment being created. So those who buy this particular car, we will give some events which are being organized in different areas, some shows and trade promotions and all that thing will be given. So thing is to keep the consumer bonded together to you as an organization, and that is how the customer relationship management comes into play. So how do you manage the customer relationships? That becomes a part of this particular thing. So that was the point number 5. Next is the point number 6, which is about the channels which are there. So channels can be various ways in which finally the product gets delivered to the consumer. So you can have the sales channel, you can have the delivery channel. So if the sales is being through the different ways in which you reach out to the customers, the delivery outlets which are there, they'll reach out delivery of the product or service. So sales channel, delivery channels, and different ways which are there in which you can reach to the customer and ensure that finally the product or the service gets delivered to the consumer. So that becomes a part of this particular value proposition, and that is the point number 6. Moving on next, point number 7 of the business model canvas. So that is the customer segments. So now here the thing is, you can divide the customer into various segments. It can be a mass market which you are catering to. It can be a very small market called the niche market which you can cater to. For a common product, it can be a simple basic biscuit, let us say, catering to a large segment. On the other hand, it's let us say you are manufacturing a special kind of a biscuit which is there, and that costs really 10 times more than the common offering for the consumers. So that is the niche market which you are catering to. Same can be in the case of an automobiles. So maybe you have an entry level car which is there, and you're offering it at a price, let us say X rupees, which is there, and then you have the highest offering the car which is there, and that could be in the luxury segment. So luxury cars, that's a niche segment. So this is how you can divide the customer on the basis of the income which is there, on the basis of the preferences, lifestyle, consumer preferences, age, occupation, gender, city, location, geography. So there's so many parameters in which you can divide your own customer segment, and that becomes the point number 7 for the business model canvas. Moving on to the point number 8. Next is called as the cost structure. So what is the cost structure is, all where this money is outgoing from the organization, that is going to come under the cost structure. So let us say you buy the raw material, electricity, land, machinery you have purchased. So that's an outflow which is there from the organization. So all the costs you can park under this particular tab which is there under the business model canvas, and you can say, okay, these are going to be my cost. This is going to be a marketing cost. This is going to be my sales cost. This is going to be my delivery cost. This is going to be my production cost. So all these different elements which are required, which will be a part of this particular product or a service being delivered to the consumer, can be parked under this area, which is called as the cost structure. And the next is the point number 9 of the business model canvas, which is called as the revenue stream. So revenue stream is, the thing, how you will get the money from the customers. So that's an inflow of the cash, inflow of the money into your organization. So that can be through the product sales. If it is an organization which is like a movie subscription online company, so there will be a subscription like per month. So it is going to be recurring money which comes into your organization. So that can be one model. So either it can be a recurring model which is there, like you have for say newspapers, it's like a monthly subscription, annual subscription. Online is available, and then for the paper-based formats, it's available. You have sites like say Netflix and all. So you have an annual subscription. You can have the monthly. You can pay and like that. So this is a ongoing or a monthly recurring model which is there for your revenue stream. The other can be a one-time purchase which is there of the thing. And so the revenue stream one-time purchase can be like for the cars which you have. So in the cars, it's like one car is being sold to the consumer, and that becomes a one-time, sales which is being done, and that becomes a kind of a revenue which comes in for the organization. So one is the cost stream, which is like a negative, which means it's an outflow. The second thing is the positive, which means the money coming into your organization. That becomes the revenue stream. So dear friends, so I like to summarize. So there are 9 points which we have covered in this business model canvas, which is there. So you have the key partners, key activities, key resources, value proposition, customer, you have relationships, channels, customer segments, cost structure, and the revenue streams. So, and in more detail you want to know, so definitely you can visit the website of strategizer.com. and you will be able to download the template of the business model canvas. So this was the business model canvas explained in the few minutes, just for your kind of knowledge and the revision. So stay tuned for more videos in different topics from my side. Thank you so much for joining in, and have a great day ahead. Thank you.